Every day we wake up to news that reminds us of how fragile life truly is. Today, the world lost four remarkable American legends. People who inspired us, entertained us, and shaped our culture in ways we'll never forget. Their stories remind us that greatness isn't about how long we live. It's about the mark we leave behind.
A quiet sadness moved through the newsroom today, as confirmation came of the passing of veteran correspondent James Avila. He was known for his calm voice during the most difficult moments in American legal history for more than 3 decades. He stood at the center of courtrooms, crime scenes, and major national trials, breaking down complex facts so the public could understand the truth. Born on July 26, 1955, James Joseph Simon, later known to the world as James Avila, built a career grounded in trust. He passed away on November 12, 2025, leaving behind a legacy respected across the media landscape. In his early years, James worked his way through local stations, always pushing himself toward stories that mattered. Those who knew him often said he had a natural instinct for justice, paired with a steady presence that brought clarity during uncertain times. When ABC News appointed him senior law and justice correspondent, it wasn't just a promotion. It was an acknowledgement of a reporter who had earned his place through consistency, empathy, and deep understanding of the law. Colleagues remember how he carried himself with patience, especially during long legal battles where details changed by the hour. One producer shared, "James never rushed, he waited for the truth, even if it took a little longer." That's what made people trust him. His reporting on major trials, including cases that defined entire decades, became a guiding voice for viewers trying to make sense of difficult events. During long nights in the newsroom, he was the one who reminded younger journalists to pause and think before they spoke. He believed that accuracy came before speed, and that a reporter's first responsibility was to the people watching at home. Many former co-workers said he treated every story with the same seriousness, whether it involved national controversy or a small-town case with one family seeking justice. James was also known for his warmth behind the scenes. Although his on-air presence was steady and firm, he carried a quiet kindness that shaped the newsroom culture. A close friend shared a tribute online. "He never tried to be the loudest voice in the room. He just tried to be the most honest." Messages like this poured in from journalists across the country, reflecting how deeply he influenced those who worked beside him. His career took him into some of the toughest stories of modern America. He covered tragic shootings, high-profile trials, and moments when the nation struggled to understand itself. Yet he always centered the human side of every case. Viewers often said they felt calm listening to him, even when the news was heavy. That calmness became his signature. As years passed, James grew into more than a correspondent. He became a mentor, a guide, and a reliable source for millions who turned to him in moments of uncertainty. Despite the pressure of his work, he never lost his sense of compassion. He believed that justice was not only a topic to report, it was a responsibility, carried with dignity. His passing brought a wave of tributes from across the industry. Anchors who rarely paused during breaking news took a moment to honor him. One anchor wrote, "James carried the weight of hard stories so the rest of us could understand them. We owe him more than we can ever say." The words echoed across social media, showing just how deeply he touched viewers and colleagues alike. Those who worked with him say that even in the final years of his career, he approached every assignment with the same commitment he had as a young reporter. Long hours, difficult cases, and even personal challenges never shook his dedication. He believed the public deserved clarity, and he fought to deliver it. In the days after his passing, younger journalists shared memories of quiet conversations with him, moments where he offered advice, encouragement, or simply listened. Many called him a pillar of calm in an industry often marked by noise and chaos. His ability to stay grounded became one of his strongest qualities. James also understood the emotional weight carried by families at the center of legal stories. He approached them with respect, careful not to turn their pain into headlines. That sensitivity set him apart and earned him admiration from viewers, who valued empathy as much as accuracy. Even now, colleagues say his presence still feels close in the hallways he once walked. His desk, often filled with notes and case files, stood as a sign of a man who never stopped learning. He believed the law was always evolving, and a reporter's job was to evolve with it. As the industry reflects on his life, one truth stands clear: James Avila wasn't just a journalist. He was a guardian of facts in an era when facts were often challenged. He stood firm, steady, and unwavering, offering clarity when the world felt confusing. His final chapter may have closed, but the stories he told, the lessons he taught, and the integrity he carried will continue to shine through the work of those he inspired. In every newsroom guided by fairness, in every report delivered with patience, and in every viewer who learned something because of him, his legacy continues. And so, James Avila is remembered as the voice of American justice, a voice that brought truth to millions, and a voice that will be missed, but never forgotten. Jack said. A gentle silence settled over the late-night music world today, as news of Cleto Escobedo's passing reached fans and colleagues across the country. Cleto spent his life wrapped in the warmth of music. Born on August 23, 1964, he grew up surrounded by rhythm, family, and the bright sound of brass instruments. Over the years, he carved out a place for himself as one of television's most recognizable bandleaders. His work on Jimmy Kimmel Live turned him into a familiar face, not just for his talent, but for his kindness and easy smile. Though the exact details of his passing were kept private, the impact of his loss was felt almost instantly. His journey into the world of music began long before television. Friends from his early years often said he could make any room feel alive with just a few notes. He carried that gift with him from small stages to larger ones, slowly building a reputation for skill, dedication, and pure love for performance. By the time he joined late-night television, he wasn't just a musician, he was an artist with a soul full of melody. At Jimmy Kimmel Live, Cleto became the heart of the show's sound. His band brought color to every episode, giving each night a sense of energy and comfort. Viewers grew attached to the way he blended jokes with music, how he lifted the mood without a single word. One crew member wrote, "Cleto didn't just play music, he felt it. And he made us feel it too." His presence added a warmth that became part of the show's identity. During his years on the show, Cleto turned ordinary nights into memorable ones. Behind the scenes, he was known for calming energy, a quality that helped steady the team during tense broadcasts. Younger musicians saw him as a guide who always spoke with patience. A fellow band member shared, "He treated everyone like family, you could walk in stressed. But if Cleto was there, you knew everything would be okay." As messages of tribute spread online, many recalled how humble he remained despite his success. Fans talked about his quiet humor, his gentle smile, and the joy he brought to millions without ever trying to steal the spotlight. One longtime viewer wrote, "Cleto was the sound of my late nights. He made every show feel warmer." These small, heartfelt messages painted a picture of a man whose influence reached far beyond the stage. Cleto's love for music extended into every part of his life. He often spoke about how grateful he was to share the stage with his closest friends, including the show's hosts who had known him since childhood. Their bond became one of the most genuine friendships seen in late-night television. Many said it was that connection that shaped the show's comforting tone, making audiences feel like they were part of the same circle. Off stage, he was a devoted son, a loyal friend, and someone who valued simple moments. People close to him say he rarely talked about fame. Instead, he talked about music, family, and gratitude. His gentle nature made him easy to be around, and his laugh became one of those small, unforgettable things people now miss dearly. As the entertainment world reflects on his life, there is a collective sense of loss. Musicians from different genres spoke about how he inspired them to follow their passion with honesty. For many, Cleto represented the idea that true artistry comes not from seeking attention, but from sharing joy with others. He leaves behind a legacy shaped by melody, friendship, and heart. Every note he played carried a piece of who he was: warm, lively, and full of spirit. His music touched millions without ever needing grand statements or flashy moments. It simply existed, quietly shaping memories for countless viewers over the years. In the end, Cleto Escobedo III gave the world a gift that will continue to echo long after the applause fades. His sound became the soundtrack of late-night comfort, the part of the show that made people smile a little wider and feel a little lighter. And though he may be gone, the music he created still lives in the hearts of those he touched. He will be remembered as a musician who played with soul, a friend who lifted the room, and a gentle spirit who turned ordinary nights into something unforgettable. A heavy stillness settles whenever his name is mentioned, a reminder of one of the darkest mornings in American history. George Banks was born on May 6, 1942, long before anyone imagined how his life would intersect with tragedy. For years, he lived quietly, moving between jobs and struggling with emotional instability that those around him often didn't fully understand. His childhood was marked by isolation, and later in life, signs of mental distress grew stronger. Many who knew him said he carried a quiet tension that never truly faded. On the morning of September 25, 1982, that tension erupted into violence. What followed became one of the most devastating family-related tragedies the country had ever witnessed. Authorities, shaken by the scale of the event, described it as a scene no officer ever wants to face. The nation watched in disbelief as the details emerged, each update more heartbreaking than the last. Investigators later pieced together the hours leading up to the violence. They noted his growing paranoia and emotional collapse. A former neighbor said, "You could tell something wasn't right. He wasn't the same man we knew." These quiet warnings, scattered across years, suddenly felt much louder in hindsight. For law enforcement, the case became a turning point. Officers who responded carried the emotional weight of the scene for years. One retired officer reflected, "We trained for danger. But nothing prepares you for something like that." The tragedy forced departments across the country to reevaluate how they approached mental health crises. Early behavioral warnings and community risks stood in the aftermath. The public searched for answers. People asked how such a devastating act could come from someone living among them. Families affected by the event spoke about the deep pain they carried, and their voices shaped many of the discussions that followed. Journalists, psychologists, and legal experts examined every detail, hoping to understand how a single moment could tear through so many lives. Throughout the legal process, the case sparked intense debate. Mental health experts argue that warning signs had been missed or dismissed. Community members questioned whether stronger intervention might have changed the course of events. The tragedy led to new conversations about mental illness, responsibility, and the systems meant to protect vulnerable families. Banks spent the rest of his life in state care, where doctors documented a continued decline in his mental state. He died on April 24, 2019, at age 76. His passing drew quiet attention, less about the man himself, and more about the lingering questions his story left behind. Even today, his case is studied in classrooms and training programs. It stands as a difficult but necessary example of how unchecked mental instability can turn dangerous when left untreated. Many experts say it changed the way America discusses early warning signs, crisis intervention, and the importance of mental health support within families. For communities who lived through the tragedy, the memories remain painful. Yet many also use those memories to push for better awareness and stronger safeguards. One advocate wrote, "We can't change what happened, but we can learn from it. We owe that to the lives affected." That sentiment continues to guide conversations around the case even decades later. His story is not one of heroism or celebration. It is a reminder of loss, of missed moments where help might have made a difference. At the same time, it stands as a lesson that shaped policies, strengthened mental health programs, and encouraged early intervention for those showing signs of emotional crisis. And while the tragedy he caused will always be remembered with sorrow, the lasting impact lies in what came after the reforms, the awareness, and the quiet determination to prevent another moment like that from ever happening again. A quiet sadness settled across Greece as news spread of the passing of Dionysius of Avila, a man whose voice had carried the emotions of a nation for more than half a century. Born on December 2, 1944, Dionysius grew up during a time of political tension and cultural change. From an early age, he understood that music could do more than entertain. It could comfort, challenge, and speak truths that people were afraid to say aloud. His songs were filled with poetry, emotion, and a deep understanding of the Greek spirit. When he passed on October 22, 2025, the country lost not just an artist, but a storyteller who shaped generations. His rise began in the late 1960s, when Greece was facing turbulent times. Many young artists were silenced, yet Dionysius found a way to express himself through metaphor and melody. Fans often said his songs felt like whispered messages of hope, hidden inside beautiful tunes. His music became a soft protest, a reminder that even in difficult years, the human spirit could endure. As his career grew, he developed a unique voice, gentle, thoughtful, deeply human. He blended folk, rock, and traditional Greek sounds, creating a style that felt both familiar and new. Listeners described him as a poet who made melodies feel like home. His lyrics spoke of ordinary life, political struggle, and personal reflection. Every song carried a piece of his soul. Through the decades, Dionysius remained connected to the people. Concerts were not just performances, they were gatherings where thousands felt understood. A longtime fan wrote, "His music raised us. It helped us through heartbreak, through joy, through change." That emotional bond became one of his strongest legacies. In the 1980s and 1990s, he became one of Greece's most beloved cultural figures. He hosted television shows, produced albums for younger artists, and continued writing songs that captured the shifting identity of the nation. Younger musicians often spoke about how he encouraged them to be brave with their art, reminding them that honesty mattered more than popularity. As the years passed, his presence grew even more symbolic. He became a bridge between generations. Older listeners cherished him for his activism and poetry, while younger fans admired his calm wisdom and open heart. One artist shared, "Meeting him felt like meeting history itself." He carried the past with him, but he always looked toward the future. When his health began to decline, he kept a low profile, spending time with family and focusing on quieter moments. Yet even in those later years, his voice resurfaced through tributes, documentaries, and the continued popularity of his songs. Many Greeks say his music feels timeless, like a piece of their identity that passes from parent to child after his passing. Tributes poured in from across the world. Leaders, artists, and everyday listeners shared memories of how his music shaped their lives. A public figure wrote, "Savvopoulos helped Greece find its voice. His lyrics were a mirror." Another tribute read, "He didn't just write songs. He wrote our memories." In the mid-body of his story, the details come together with quiet emotion. His influence on social movements, his gentle presence on stage, his ability to turn personal reflection into universal truth. Each part of his life shows a man who understood the weight of words and the power of melody. But beyond the fame, Dionysus remained humble. Friends say he preferred simple conversations, long walks, and time spent with loved ones. He believed that music without humanity meant nothing, and that belief shaped everything he created. His legacy is woven into modern Greek culture. Schools study his lyrics. Filmmakers use his songs to frame emotional scenes. Families play his music during moments of celebration and grief. He became a soundtrack for everyday life, for the country's rising hopes and its difficult nights. Today, Greece remembers him not with loud fanfare, but with soft gratitude. His melodies echo through radios, cafes, and quiet homes where people pause to feel his presence again. The nation mourns him, but it also celebrates the gift he left behind, songs that continue to guide, comfort, and inspire. Dionysus Savvopoulos will be remembered as the poet of Greek music, a gentle voice who captured the heartbeat of his country. His words still shine in the minds of those who grew up with him, and in the hearts of those discovering him for the first time. His story ends with a farewell wrapped in music, a reminder that even after a life fades, the songs remain, carrying his spirit through every note that continues to play across generations.